Check-in Wednesday, and the point of our time together tonight is just to connect. We're sort of about midway through the 7-day cleanse, and I just wanted to connect in with you and get your feedback to check in, see how it's going, answer any questions you might have. And so, can I have a volunteer? Anybody want to chime in? Share what your experience has been.
Okay, well, hi everyone.
Patty.
Hi, I'm on my third day without coffee, and I can't believe I survived. But I am on decaf. I'm on the decaf.
Yeah.
I had to because I don't know, I really miss that flavor, but I don't have the caffeine. So the first day I had a splitting headache. I didn't think I was gonna get to the workout, but I did, and I felt so much better after.
Yeah,
I was so glad I did that Monday workout. Oh my gosh.
And you had mentioned to me, Patty, that you actually felt hungry afterwards, which isn't something that you normally feel.
Yeah. Actually, I have been feeling hungry. Yeah, especially in the morning. And so that granola recipe was dangerous.
Yeah, I've heard that from a few people.
Yeah, it was really good, really good.
So Patty,
and also my wine. I haven't had wine with dinner since Sunday. Yeah.
And normally, how many cups of coffee would you have, and how many glasses of wine would you have a day?
Usually, coffee I would have 1.5, maybe 2 in the morning.
Okay. Black or with sugar and with cream? With
cream. No sugar, just cream.
Okay.
Quite a bit of cream, and a really strong coffee. I would use like a double scoop because I use the instant.
Okay, so
even though we have a nice coffee machine, I'm used to the instant coffee, and I make it really strong with the cream. So the first couple of days I had a splitting headache. Yeah. When I changed to the decaf. Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that you're reporting in that you are feeling hungry in the morning for breakfast, because coffee can be an appetite suppressant. And that's something that I found when I came off of it 3 years ago. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to, is because I found that when I had my coffee, that might be all that I had until 11 o'clock, or 11:30 lunchtime, because I didn't feel hungry, right? So it's a good thing that you're hungry for breakfast and that you're fueling your body with good food and not just liquid energy.
Yeah. And the wine at night, the 1 cup of wine with my dinner I didn't think I'd give that one up, but I did. And I don't feel any craving.
Yeah,
it's weird.
That's good. And how are you finding your sleep has been this week so far?
Well, the first 2 nights weren't good. Yesterday was okay. Yeah, the first 2 nights wasn't. I had a headache, and I had a headache waking up too.
And how about your water intake?
I've been drinking I bought the roasted dandelion tea, and I've been drinking it. I mean, I haven't been drinking maybe 2 liters like you had suggested, but I'm drinking more than I normally do. Okay,
so just keep a focus on that. Part of the reason why I say that, and I keep harping on it, it seems like such a simple thing, and it's something that you keep hearing over and over and over again. And I mean, it's like, beating a dead horse, right? But our meal plan has a lot of fiber in it, and you might find that your consistency of your bowel movements and stuff have even changed. And so part of why heavy water intake is so important is because the system needs that to help flush out a lot of that junk, right? And so that's like super important. So if anyone's feeling constipated, I would tell you to like up the water intake and really just sort of focus on that. over the next, I know it's kind of a weird thing to talk about, and some people are like, look, I don't want to share that information. That's okay. Yeah. But I did have somebody reach out to me today saying that she has certain medications that she takes. And I believe this day is typically the day where her dosage is like at a certain level, where normally she's in the washroom like 3 or 4 times. And, you know, she's finding that today it was much better. The situation was much better. And, and she said, you know, a big part of it, I think for her, is just adding those fibrous foods to the meal plan. And, yeah, so that was, you know, something that she had found. You will find too, if you are used to having wine with dinner, used to having alcohol in the evening, that when you take that out, oftentimes your sleep changes for the better. Again, because alcohol is a stimulant, and it's processed through the liver, so it can have a whole host of impacts on hormones and your digestive system, and you know, overtaxing your liver a little bit. So you may start to find, Patty, as the week goes on, that your sleep will, you know, change and maybe start to get better, you know, as your system works that out of your body, works that out of its system. So any other, you know, any other thing to share? Anybody else have similar stories? Just like jump in, guys. If somebody says something that, you know, you resonate with and you have your own example to share, hop in and let everybody know.
So Carolyn, do you feel like as the detox goes on, the sleep should improve?
It should improve.
Like yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it should improve. But a lot
just
of it
because you're cleaner, like your body's processing less, or?
Yeah, I mean, you've got less sugar in your system.
Yeah.
Which has an impact on your digestive system. A lot of us get into a bad habit of snacking at nighttime, or having those hunger pains at nighttime, which oftentimes is a sign your digestive system is telling you to go to bed. It's not that you're hungry, it's that your digestive system wants you to sleep. So if you start to feel you're feeling hungry at around 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, that's probably not because you're hungry. It's because your body is telling you to go to bed. A lot of people misread that. So if you were normally an evening snacker, your digestive system isn't resting the way that it's designed to rest for sleep. So that can oftentimes impact you, you know, mid-wake up. If your diet is really high in sugar, you're going to have an imbalance, right, in blood sugar levels. And that in and of itself, for women who are in our age category, can oftentimes be the key contributing factor to hot flashes.
Is sugar?
Is sugar, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so just by virtue of stripping that out through not only food, but also alcohol contains a lot of sugar. So when you strip that out, and that's why I asked Patty as well if she had sugar in her coffee normally. So whenever you're stripping that out, you're removing that from your system, and it's just you're going to have more of an even blood sugar level throughout your day. The other thing that, you know, hugely impacts sleep is cortisol. So you could be sticking to this detox really stringently, but if you still have stressors outside of, you know, this detox, so you've got a really stressful job, you're worried about finances, you're worried about this pandemic, you've got other things that are on your mind, you're really going to want to focus in on having those Epsom salts bath, like trying to figure out a pre-bed routine that is going to keep that cortisol level, kind of bring that cortisol level down. The normal cortisol roller coaster, if you will, is for our cortisol levels to start to increase at around 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, in preparation for us to get up for the day. And when you are eating the right foods and you're not sort of contributing to inflammation in the body and an imbalance in blood sugar levels, your cortisol hormones should be where they need to be, which for most of us means that we don't necessarily need to depend on an alarm clock to wake up in the morning. We naturally are starting to like yawn and and feel tired and want to nod off to bed, right? Because the cortisol levels are coming up at 4 o'clock in the morning and they're starting to decrease at 8, 9, 10 p.m. That's why I always say to people, you really need to get yourself to bed by 11 o'clock at the latest, because that's when you're going to really capitalize on the lull in that cortisol level, and your body is just hormonally going to be in a better state to fall into a nice deep sleep. So I hope that answers your question, Jen.
Yeah, no, that's good. And just, this is a little off topic, but you said that there was a meditation that you were going to send us?
Yes, I'm going to send that out, not tomorrow, but on Friday. What is tomorrow? Perfect. Thursday. Yeah, Friday. No, I haven't sent it. I haven't sent it yet. It's about a 17-minute, I think, meditation. Perfect. That a girlfriend of mine did. Yeah. And in the meantime, the guidebook I did put some apps in there. Many of them are free trials. If you want to kind of, sort of take a look at some of those. I've kind of given you a brief description on what they're all about. But many of them, they offer you a free trial. And I know I've tried the Abide one, and it's been awesome. My daughter was sleeping with me that evening, and she was asleep. She's like, Mom, I don't even remember the end of what he was talking about at the end, because she was out within 10 minutes of a 20-minute meditation, which was really nice. So whatever you can do to bring those sorts of practices into what you do daily to try to reduce your stress levels, reduce your cortisol. The more stressed you are, the higher your cortisol levels are going to be. So,
Thank you.
You're welcome. I wanted to give you, to let you know. So I had someone reach out to me to say that she has made larger batches of chicken. So she sort of batch cooked a little bit at the beginning so that she could mix and match lunches and dinners. Her kids are younger and her husband is working night shifts this week. So she's just running around crazy. And she said she's a creature of habit. So she's actually been having the same thing for breakfast every day, which is totally fine. As I mentioned at the beginning, you can do that if that's what you need to do in order to be able to, get through the week. It's good to kind of add variety for a variety of nutrients. But, if you decide to have the granola every day this week, it's not going to kill you. It's healthy, good granola, right? So I also had somebody say, can I actually snack on the granola? Yes, you definitely can, but too much of a good thing can also be a bad thing, right? So if you're eating if you're setting a bowl of granola down in front of you, you're just mindlessly doing your work and oh my gosh, all of a sudden the bowl of granola is gone. It's all nuts and it's all healthy fats. So it's all good. But I would tell you that if you were going to have nuts, you just have a handful of nuts, right? Not a whole bowl of nuts. So switch it up. add in, vegetables. Vegetables and fruits, vegetables specifically, you really can't overdose on. So if you're going to, if you're searching for things to snack on, I would say, like, for sure, have the handful of granola. If you're somebody that's used to having carbs and you're really missing the carbs this week, then that granola is going to feel a little bit more comforting to you. But you also, like, do what you can to kind of add in more vegetables as well, because lots of phytonutrients in those vegetables, lots of fiber. What else did I hear? Yeah, so I also heard from someone who said that they slept a lot better, not as many hot flashes throughout the week, which seems to be good. And just also, the last person was talking about how the tough time for her is sort of mid-afternoon to late afternoon. What about you guys? What time of day do you find is hardest for you?
I have a hard time at the end of a meal just leaving the meal. I feel like I want something after, and I don't know if it's psychological or habit or whatever, but because if I just walk away, I just move on and I don't think of it again. Mm-hmm. But that thing, like something after a meal that's sweet or crunchy or something.
Now, would you normally, Jen, have something sweet after your meal?
Not really, but I do find that when I finish a meal and I'm cleaning up, I kind of, mindlessly eat things as I'm clearing up, and I don't just stop with the meal. And I think that's, I don't know if I'd technically call it a craving, because I don't know if I'm really looking for just more to eat, or I don't know. I don't know how to, I don't think I'm explaining myself properly.
Yeah, no, you totally are, because I have times where I feel that as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, part of what's happening is as well, your body is kind of coming down from that, living in that typical state where your sugar levels are coming back to a balance, right? So if we typically are living in a state where we're eating more sugar, we're having more like carbohydrates and breads and that kind of thing, your body is literally addicted to that. And mm-hmm. So after you've eaten your blackened chicken salad or your lentil chili or whatever, you're having, part of what you could be experiencing is, the side effects of coming off of the addiction of being used to having a meal that is higher in sugars.
Okay.
Or simple carbohydrates. So that's part of what might be going on. The other thing that might be happening is that if you are, admittedly mindlessly, cleaning the dishes and there's a couple of extra pieces of whatever on your kid's plate and you finish that off too. Mm-hmm. I mean, many of us do that, right? We eat and we don't necessarily track how often we're sort of mindlessly eating or snacking or whatsoever. And so a big part of this detox is becoming aware of those patterns. And yeah. That's why I mentioned earlier, if you haven't done so yet, I would recommend just getting like a booklet or whatever, Post-it note, whatever you have around, and keeping track, almost like a little diary, as you learn some of this stuff, right? Because I want you to be able to reflect back on it. Lots of detoxes, you do them for your set period of time. And then it's like, the next day, you're popping open a bottle of wine to celebrate the fact that you've just done 7 days of detox. That's kind of like not the point. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, but I also would really hope that you don't all just like rush back or go through the McDonald's drive-through because now you can have salty fries. Like, I want you to be able to get in touch with how food makes you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And for many of us, that might also be the connection, the emotional connection to food, right? So am I really hungry, or am I have I just not had my water intake today? Am I really hungry, or am I just tired and I need to go to bed? Am I really hungry, or is this just the fact that my body is used to being fed a higher carbohydrate meal, and a readjustment needs to happen in my blood sugar levels, and that addiction to sugar and high carbs needs to be broken. And am I really hungry for that thing, or am I just stressed or sad or whatsoever? And I'm not suggesting that I would never, whatever tell you that, you can't ever go back to having a bowl of ice cream or French fries or that kind of thing. But I think many of us get into a slippery circle of those things not being a once in a blue moon type of thing, or 1 or 2 times a week, but it becoming a crutch and something that we depend on a regular basis. And then pretty soon it just becomes a part of our regular routine. And then we get back into not sleeping well, not feeling great, putting on a few pounds, not having very much energy. And it can happen really, 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 really quickly, right? Because this type of thing isn't sexy. It's not fun at the beginning for many of us, right? I mean, my sister-in-law was saying, I've done really great up to this point, but tonight I found it really challenging because I'm eating my nice blackened chicken salad and my family's sitting in front of me eating gnocchi and a nice big baguette, right? So, and it can feel like you're depriving yourself, especially if people around you are not eating in the same healthy way. So when I said to my family, we had a conversation about this detox week on the weekend, and I really encouraged us to change our language around how we speak about the detox. That it's not we have to eat healthier, or we're not allowed to have X, Y, or Z. We need to change our perception. And oftentimes that also means our language around how we are describing eating in this way. And that's a big part. Like, we're detoxing what's going into our bodies, but in many ways, I think we also have to kind of spend some time thinking about, how do I need to detox my thoughts, or my emotional connections to food, right? And it's not something that's we're going to do in 7 days. That's a really a lifetime goal, right? But I think bringing a greater awareness and keeping that journal that I mentioned really helps to do that, because you can go back and reflect on it. What did I learn through this detox? I hope that we're able to go back and reflect on, like, Patty, geez, what I learned, that I don't really need caffeine in the morning. So I think you're going to hear me talk at the end of the week, like, do you need to go back to that then? Like, what would be your reason for going back to that? I'm not asking you to answer that question tonight, but I do want you to think about it, right? What would be my reason for going back to whatever dessert after the end of every meal, or I don't know, fill in the blank, right? And I think when you can connect how taking something out, choosing to remove something from your food vocabulary or your food choices, lights just went out over here. You can still see me okay?
Yeah.
It's on a timer and I don't know how to change that. So when you can connect your decision to remove a certain food for the majority of the time or change it up to a personal experience or a personal benefit to you, the stronger that connection, the easier it will be to be okay with it. Does that make sense? And to be able to explain it to other people, because I think half the time our trouble with cementing healthy choices is having to explain to other people why we're not having wine anymore, or why we don't drink coffee anymore. Your friend wants to meet you for coffee. Well, I don't drink coffee anymore. And then it becomes like a social thing and an emotional thing, right? So if you can show up to those conversations with your family or your friends and say, you know what, I actually don't drink coffee anymore, or I don't have wine really much anymore because I didn't like the way that it was making me feel. Like when people say, you don't drink coffee? Like, how long have you not been on coffee? I'm like, yeah, I didn't. It suppressed my appetite. It gave me like weird teenage acne at 43. And I just, I can get the same warm cup mug around my hands drinking decaf without all of those side issues, right? So the stronger your connection to your reason why you're doing something, the easier it's going to be for you to implement that going forward on an ongoing basis. So keeping a journal and a record of how you're feeling through some of these changes this week is going to help build your story and empower you, which is what this is really all about. I could have created a celery juice detox for you, but you would not, that's not sustainable. A friend of mine just said, oh, well, she's doing, actually my daughter's good friend was over tonight, and she said, my mom is doing a cleanse, and she's doing 3 days. It's 3 days of juices only, and then just a shake every day the rest of the week. And it's for a month. And her friend lost 10 pounds. And so if it works for her, she's going to keep doing it for 2 months. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, just like bite your tongue, Carolyn. But I'm sitting here feeling like, okay, what's going to happen is, good intentions, right? Good intentions. But ultimately, if you're not learning practices and behaviors that you can actually implement as part of how you take care of yourself on a regular basis, then you are going to go back to eating the way that you did before, because all it does is it just feels like deprivation for the sake of losing 10 pounds, right? So we're here connecting to things that make us feel better and becoming aware of that, and then deciding how you want to let that inform your decisions and changes and stuff going forward. Amy, how are you doing? How's it going for you over there? I know yesterday I got an email saying, oh my gosh, I'm really feeling it right now. And then I thought, oh, you know what? If she's feeling it, I'm sure there's at least a few other people that are feeling it. Maybe I need to send a mid-afternoon email out. So you were my inspiration for that email.
Oh, well, you're welcome. Went downhill from there. Today was terrible. I actually haven't ate today.
Uh-oh.
I've been really sick, but I also got my period, which I only get sorry girls if this is too much, but
it's fine.
Only get it every few months, and when I get it, it hits me like a ton of bricks. So I think both of them together just really knocked me out. So I've actually been sleeping most of the day.
Okay.
So Aaliyah made me some soup with my broth.
Yes.
And some of the leftover chicken that we had.
Good.
And some of the chickpea noodles.
Cauliflower. Oh, chickpea pasta.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. And so that's all I've ate today.
Okay.
I
Well,
feel better now.
you stayed on the cleanse.
I did. I didn't want to. I was up chucking, so I didn't want to.
Oh.
That's okay. That was it just means my body's really addicted to sugar and caffeine, and so it's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah. Do you normally get, when you get your period, is it normally this bad? Like,
Yeah.
is it the vomiting because you think of the cleanse, or you
No,
normally because of the pain?
it's because my headache's so bad,
Okay.
but it's doubled because I'm not drinking Diet Coke. I don't drink
Yes.
coffee, but I
Yes.
drink a lot of Diet Coke.
Okay.
So it's that for sure. And
Okay.
the sugar, I'm addicted to sugar too. So,
Yeah.
but the meals
It's
have been really great.
Yeah, I've actually heard that from a lot of people, and even my family. They're like pleasantly surprised
Hmm.
at how tasty everything is, which was done by design as well. Again, if it's not going to taste good, then that's just going to continue to feed your um, perception of what eating healthy means, right? So
Yeah,
it
exactly.
doesn't have to be too complicated, and it doesn't certainly shouldn't taste gross. So
I'd love a hunk of cheese, but other than that, I'm good.
And I think the empowering thing is that you can have cheese and you can have,
I'm gonna have cheese.
yeah, you can have those things. Food is meant to be enjoyed, right? And so you better believe that when Thanksgiving comes around, I'm going to enjoy a beautiful Thanksgiving meal and a slice of pumpkin pie and whatever with my family. Wherever you can have those things as healthy as possible, like homemade pumpkin pie, where you know what's actually gone in it versus a store-bought piece of pumpkin pie, things like that. So homemade is always better. And partly also because there's a lot of love that goes into your food. And I don't know if it sounds weird for you guys, but I really believe in that, like how your food is made. It's the love and attention and care that goes into it. You're eating that too, and the moments with family and stuff are meant to be enjoyed. I think it's when the tail starts wagging the dog. Is that the right? Yeah, the tail starts wagging the dog when we get sort of off balance, and so we're trying to promote balance with homeostasis or balance within the body by taking sugars out and balancing off our sugar levels and our hormone levels and our pH levels and all those things that we've talked about. But it's also about balancing our behaviors. And so it's about learning that I don't always have to say no to French fries or pie, but I get to choose when, or even a Diet Coke, right? Like if that's your thing that you really love, then let yourself have a Diet Coke once a week. But choose, you choose when and where. It's not something that's motivated by emotion, which I think for a lot of us, especially right now, a lot of our eating habits over the last 6 months you cannot ignore the connection between COVID and how we're eating. Stress has a huge impact. And never mind the fact that a lot of the things that are there that are convenient and stuff for us to eat are loaded with ingredients that are designed to kind of keep us addicted to them, right? Like there's sugar in everything, things that you wouldn't even think. So your addiction to sugar, Amy, that's not something you should be ashamed of, or every single 9 of us in this group is feeling the detox effects. Maybe not to your degree with all your, your period stuff going on, and I feel so badly for you, but you know, we're kind of we're all in that same boat. And anyway, so hopefully you're finding that this is empowering. The next few days, you kind of encourage you to keep pressing on.
My pH level was really bad, so I was gonna do it whether or not I felt like junk or not. I knew I was gonna feel awful.
Yeah.
Didn't really realize, my period was gonna come along, but
Yeah, it'll be interesting to retake that pH test.
Agreed.
At
Yes.
the end. And what about the saliva test? Did you guys do that?
Oh yeah, I've done it before, and it was bad then. It's bad now.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad. It won't be bad at the end.
Mm-hmm. Won't be as bad.
As
It
bad.
might be,
Yeah,
you know, we all have a little bit of yeast in the body that's going to be there, and it causes your saliva to be heavy. That's why the saliva grows legs. So we're all going to have a little bit of that. But the nice thing is that now you guys have those pH strips and you know how to do the saliva test. You can do that at any given time, right? Again, it's about giving you the tools to empower you to keep choosing in and making good choices going through. So one thing that I will say to you as we sort of close off this session and start to think about the tail end of this week is that just keep putting one foot in front of the other. There is a book that I read some time ago. Now I can't remember the name of it, but it's about the smallest habits, the smallest things, in the end being the biggest things. But at the time that you're doing them, they seem insignificant and really boring. So brushing your teeth every day. Like, fortunately, we all learned from the time we first had, you know, we got our first tooth, that was really important to do. So that's something that was ingrained in us from the time we were toddlers, right? Things like drinking lots of water and minimizing your sugar intake, many of us are just learning how to do that now. So choosing into these new daily rituals and habits, you have to keep choosing. You have to keep choosing. And it's boring. And it's like, you know, making your bed in the morning, or having to like do your laundry or pick up your socks, right? It's like, really? But if you don't pick up your laundry and you don't make your bed, your house is going to be just a disaster, right? And even though it's things we don't want to do and it feels boring and whatever, these are important things to choose into and keep doing day over day over day over day. And after these 7 days together, if you can keep on, you know, maybe not to the same extreme, but choosing into some of these habits, you will start to, it'll become easier. It'll never be really easy because you will always have to choose. It's like choosing to work out. You have to choose into doing that, right? And some days will be harder than others. But over time, it's those little choices that will make a huge difference to your health ongoing. And for some of you, you're going to need more than 7 days. If your candida yeast is really heavy in your body and you have an overgrowth of candida, you should start to think about staying on a low to no sugar, refined sugar diet for at least another 2 weeks. Like, make your goal to get to Thanksgiving, right? And keep your journal. And so just as we start to welcome in the backside of this detox, closing points are: start writing in a journal and inform yourself, tell your story so you can be empowered to make those choices going forward. Keep drinking your water. Start to think about how you want this detox and some of these habits to live on past Sunday. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks, Carolyn.
Thank you so much. Don't forget, we're going to party. We're going to be wild. We're going to have a wild party on Sunday night. You're not going to want to miss it. I can't wait to see you guys then. No beer, no wine, no coffee. but it'll be
Thank
fun.
you so much.
It'll be good. Thank you guys for being here, and keep up the great work. And we'll see you again soon.
Thanks,
Thank
Carolyn.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.